Turki Alashikh versus Canelo is some of the funniest shit I've seen lately. So, it's clear that Turki has been able to have his way with most fighters when it comes to, giving them their highest paydays and putting them in fights that he wants to see. But we don't see Turki take kindly to fighters that aren't willing to bend and do things as he wants them done. The first example we saw of this was with Gervonta Davis when, he made that comment about wanting two Ferraris in order to even have a discussion. And Turki obviously didn't like that. Up until this point, every fighter has pretty much wanted to work with Turki with the expectation that they would receive their highest payday. But with fighters like Gervonta and Canelo, they are going to make money and they are going to sell pay-per-views here in the U.S. regardless of who they're with. And that becomes a problem for Turki because, he's used to people giving in to his demands. The fights are at the locations he wants them at. The fights, are at the times he wants them at. And, he doesn't like being told no. And seeing Canelo clap back in English lately has been some of the funniest stuff. What he's trying to say with most of his items, sometimes it comes off a little goofy, but it's, it's fine. And in his latest press conference with Edgar Berlanga, Canelo has really let his personality show a little bit more. Just seeing all the shit that he's been talking to Edgar about how he's nothing, how, he hits like his son and all that. It's pretty funny to watch. And also the mannerisms. The mannerisms and that little exchange with Caleb Plant were pretty hilarious too. But when it comes to Turki and him clapping back like, we're moving on from the Canelo train, he only wants to take easy fights, there's some validity there, I would say. So Turki is right in the sense that ever since the Bivol fight, Canelo hasn't wanted to necessarily take the most risk. But, other comments from him don't make sense. Like, the whole making big fights and paying fighters their fair price or whatever. Wasn't the Tyson Fury purse like $150 million or something ridiculous like that? Up until the fights with Deontay Wilder, Fury had never shown to be any kind of pay-per-view draw or a big star here in the U.S. And we know that Fury has sold in the U.K., but if we're being honest, the seating at those stadiums and those arenas versus the pricing for the ones in the U.S. is drastically different. Like, aren't pay-per-views like $10 in the U.K. or something like that, or £10, whatever you want to call it? But it's nothing compared to the $80 we have to pay over here. So it's clear that the U.S. is like the money generator. So when you have fighters that actually are able to pull in, revenue for their respective companies, they are able to call the shots. And with Canelo saying that he pulls 80% of all the revenue from his events, I doubt that that's true, but we'll just take his word for it. But even if he wasn't, we know that his guaranteed purses are ridiculously high. You see, you can't really buy a fighter like Canelo who's been earning 30 plus million every single fight for the last maybe, 8 years. So it's, he's made more than enough money to live and to live a comfortable lifestyle. But I want to touch a little bit on the second point about Canelo not wanting to take easy fights. He mentioned Benavidez and Crawford. So the Benavidez fight, I 100% agree. I don't think Canelo wants any part of that fight at this point of his career. So there's no argument there. But with the Crawford fight, I don't think that's the case. Right after the fight this weekend, Crawford's tune versus Canelo became a little bit different. He realized that jumping up to 154, let alone 168, was going to be a big problem for his frame. He just didn't perform the same. And, so to kind of make it seem like, oh, you know what, Canelo doesn't want the fight, it's almost the Turki finding a way to create a scapegoat for maybe one of his favorite fighters not necessarily wanting to move forward with a challenge he once thought was doable. And if the reports are true, Turki Alashikh has been losing money on every single event that he's been putting on so far for Riyadh season. But anyways, so you have fighters like Tyson Fury who are clearly asking for a tremendous amount of money in order for the undisputed fight to happen. You have fighters like Crawford that have shown to not necessarily be a big draw, and they're still demanding this big spectacle and this grand show. Anthony Joshua is probably the only exception to this. He can make money regardless of who he's fighting as well. But even his team, when he's not facing an opponent that's, at the same caliber that he normally faces, he'll face them in a smaller arena to make up for the fact that, the revenue for the fight won't be as big. So with Turki showing a clear favoritism for fighters that are willing to bend the knee for him, obviously Canelo and Gervonta are going to be very prideful fighters, and they're not going to want to give in to all his takes. And the reason is simple. Gervonta and Canelo are fine without him. They don't need him at this point. They are established fighters. They are revenue generators. They're exciting. Most boxing fans know who they are. They are considered the two top faces of boxing. And at this point in their careers, neither Tank or Canelo necessarily need Turki. Seeing Turki clap back to Canelo, though, was funny. There was some truth in what he was saying, but also you can kind of hear his pride and his ego kind of, getting squashed a little bit. Do I think these two will ever work together? Honestly, I do, because regardless of where either one of them stands, they probably both know that the most money they'll ever generate will be with each other. So, for now, it's just fun little boxing gossip while we wait for bigger and better fights to happen. But with that being said, I'd like to hear more on what you guys think. Do you find the back and forth with Turki and Canelo entertaining? I do. So far, are you happy with what Turki Alashikh has done for boxing? I know that for the most part I am. Until next time, I appreciate you all tuning into the Fighting Post. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Peace.